All right, you probably already all realized this, but if I wanted, if I want to go in and go to a control, I can click on it, but I can also come over here in the component tree and click there. The advantage of doing that and actually coming over here and clicking is it's not going to move. Whereas if you click, you might accidentally move it. So, all right. If you do accidentally move it, you can usually do a Control Z to make it go back to where it was before anyway. So I'm going to come here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this. I'm going to go through the same process I've just been showing you. This will become text view height. All right, and after text view height, the next thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to go down to text. Oops. Yeah, I got this. I don't know why, but it said update usages as well. When I typed yes, it just seemed to work okay. I'm not sure. I got that a couple times. Then it went away. All right. Now, with this one, again, you already know I can click the ellipsis, I can find height, or I can come in here and do an add string dash height. Either one of those will work. So again, Ethan was mentioning during the break that he paraphrasing what you said, has more of a comfort level in going to the text portion and just keying in the text there. All right. Somebody else might say, no, it's a lot easier to do it this way. I like visual. All right. Either way is fine. You're getting the same result either way. Next, I'm going to come down to the background, and I'm going to set the background here. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to click color, and I'm going to choose green, the same way we did this before. All right. Then I'm going to jump down like we did before, and I'm going to go to text alignment, down pretty far down. All right, and I'm going to choose center. All right, then I'm going to go down to text color, and I'm going to choose magenta, and then I'm going to go down to text size, and I'm going to choose 18SP. All right, and then finally right below that, I'm going to click the arrow by text style, and I'm going to choose bold. All right, so now that's set. Okay, so again, what did we do? We started at the top, we changed the ID. All right, after changing the ID from text view 2 to text view height, then I went down and changed the text. All right, I manually typed in there at string dash height, which again, you can do that. Then after that, we went down to the background, changed the background to at color dash green, or again, you could just choose it from the ellipsis. From there, we went down all the way, quite a ways down, and changed our text alignment to center, our text color to magenta, our text size to 18SP, and our text style to bold. All right, questions on that? All right, because then I'm going to go down to the edit text, the one right to the right of it, right there. All right, again, I can either click here or I can click there. And I'm going to kind of do the same type of thing. All right? In other words, I'm going to come back up here, and I want to change this to edit text height. All right, and so I wanted to change the ID, do that first. Okay. Then, again, you're going to see me just doing the same type of stuff. All right, so I changed that to the name to edit text height. Then I'm going to go down. I don't want text in there, so there is no text in there now. So I'm going to go all the way down to background. And for the background, I'm going to come in here and again choose color, and I'm going to choose green. All right. After I've done that, I'm going to do something you haven't seen yet. And if you look up on the screen here, I'm going to start arrowing my way down, and I'm going to find the H's. And there's a thing that says hint. All right. And I'm going to put in for the hint, I'm going to say enter height, and then in parentheses 1296. And it's pretty obvious when you look there what happened when I did that. All right? Now, it may not show that well on your, on the screen here. I can see it. You may or may not be able to. That's not really that big a thing, to be honest with you. All right? Now, what I'm going to do, and after I do this, let me just mention, you may want to do this. You may not want to do this. All right? So, what I'm going to do next is pretty much the same stuff I've been doing. So, I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go underneath text alignment, and I'm going to set that to center. All right. After I set the text alignment to center, I'm going to, again, go down and find the text color, and I'm going to set that to magenta. All right. And you say, well, it didn't change. That's your hint text. The color that'll when it runs will change. Your hint stays gray. Soon as this is going to show, and as soon as we run the program and you put your mouse there and click, that hint text goes away. All right? All right. Now, this is my suggestion. If you look up on the screen, please. What I did, what I told you to do, and what I actually have in mind is for text size now, I set it to 18. You may not want to make it that big. If you make all, what I tried to do is I wanted the text here and the text here and the stuff we'll put in the statistics. I wanted it all to be in the same size, so it was kind of symmetric, and I thought it would look better. All right, but where we're going to put the stuff down here where we put our statistics, if you leave that at 18 SP, it looks really cramped, really cramped. So with this one, I'm just going to keep it at 14. If you want to keep yours at 18, go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to keep it right there. All right. And I'm going to set the text style again to bold. All right. Now, when you look at this, it's like, wow, these are really off center. Well, wait till we change these two. All right. And then you could try to move it down or do whatever. That's not really for where we are in the process right now. If it's not 100% lined up, that's not that big a thing right now. All right. So now I'm just going to basically echo or emulate, no Android pun intended, but what I just did. In other words, I'm going to come down to here, my next text view. I'm going to come up and I'm going to change the ID to text view weight. I'm going to change the text in there. This time I'll click the ellipsis and I'll find weight. There it is, and click OK. All right. Not sure why that's small like it is, but it is. All right. For some reason it didn't take my change. That's why. There we go. All right. And after I do that, again, I'm just going to keep going down and doing the same stuff. All right. So in other words, I'm going to go down and I'm going to change my background. I'm going to go to color and I'm going to make it green. I mean, you know what I'm doing now. All right. And after I make the color green, I've already set the text. All right. So I'm going to go down to my text areas down here near the bottom. So I'm going to go down to, again, to text alignment. And I'm going to make that centered. All right, then I'm going to go to text color, and I'm going to make it magenta. All right, then I'm going to go down a little further, and for text size, I'm going to make it 18. And for text style, I'm going to make it bold. So in other words, those two look virtually the same right now. All right, except one's got a H at the beginning, and the other one's got a W at the beginning. All right. Now I'm going to make the same kinds of changes to the edit text. All right. Same stuff we just did. So I'm going to come up here to the ID, and I'm going to change it from edit text, whatever the number was, 2, I guess, to edit text weight. All right. After I do that, I'm going to go down and I'm going to find, there's no text to set here. So I'm going to change the background. to green. All right. I'm going to, like I said, just work my way down. So find hint. This one will say enter weight. All right, and it's going to be 1 through 777. If you don't like those limits, make your own. All right. Now, I guess there would be, it would almost be advantageous to leave it the size it is, because that shrunk a lot, but I'm just still going to be consistent, I'm going to do exactly what I just did. All right. In other words, I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to find in my text properties, all right, I'm going to go to text alignment, and I'm going to make it centered. I'm going to go to text color, and I'm going to make it magenta. I'm going to go down to text size, and again make it 14. And I'm going to go to text style, and I'm going to make it bold. All right. Anybody notice something that's happened on my screen? What? The background. That's happened to me more than once, where it goes and then it'll come back again. I don't know why. All right. Now, there's probably a reason for it. I don't know what the reason is what I'm telling you. But there could be a very viable reason for that. All right. Then we're going to, if you look up on the screen here, not exactly do what we did before, but something similar. We're going to add another text view right underneath weight. Give it a little bit more room. Did you hear me? Don't make it so, move it down a little bit. It's about around there, somewhere in there. All right? And after that, we want to add next to that another text view. All right, I'm going to kind of eyeball, use that and line them up like this. All right. We're going to do one more thing before we go and start actually building this. So I just added 2 text views. You can see they're in here as text view 4 and text view 5. All right. Now, please look on the screen because I want you to see this. Some of these things, notice if I come in here and I want this to be lined up with that one. So I come in here and try to stretch it. It doesn't work because it says that's part of a constrained layout. But notice if I come here and I click on this, all right, I might have to click on it a couple times. Like I said, I may have to click on it a couple times. But you notice I can stretch that out. You see that? That's what I want you to do. I want it to look pretty much the same in here. All right. What we want to print in here, just so you all see this, okay? We want, when we get done, we're going to change the size of this in just a minute. This is going to be our statistics area, but if you look up on the screen, this is what we want to have printed here. We'll want it to say something like height, colon, 72, then a tab, weight, colon, 200, BMI, colon, whatever it is, 34.86, status, overweight. Does that make sense? That's what we want to print in there. All right? The reason I'm telling you that is we're going to have to make some changes, but since we've kind of been doing it where we've been doing stuff in order, so to speak, let's go first to this text view right here, that text view. Let's go to that text view, the one on the left. All right? And again, if you don't like my names, you can use your own. You're not turning this in anyway. But I call this text view stats because it's going to hold our statistics. You might have wanted to call it text view results. It doesn't really matter in the end. All right? Maybe results would have been a better name. All right. But you know right now everything I'm going to be doing. All right? Such as, well, I don't want that text that's in there right now, so I'm going to go over to the text, and I'm going to set stats. All right, it didn't take. Do it again. All right, so there's my stats. All right, and Just going to start working my way down. I'm going to set the background color to green. All right. Again, I'm just working my way down, like I said. I'm going to go down and I'm going to find in my text area here, I want to set my text alignment again to center. I want to set my text color to magenta. I want to set my text size. I'll keep that at 18. All right. And I want to set my text style to bold. All right. So what's left in here is that other text field. All right. So let's start working with that. This one I did call, just so you know, I call this text view results, because that is where I'm putting the results. All right. And I'm just going to work my way down. I don't want there to be any text in here. Everybody hear me? I don't want any text in here. Okay? So I'm just going to remove it. There shouldn't be anything in there. Now notice that once I do that and I get off of here and I move down, for example, to background, all right, it's gone. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set the color of the background. I'm going to set that to green. All right. And again, just keep working my way down like I've been doing. All right. So I'm going to come all the way down here toward the bottom. And under my text alignment, as always, I'm going to make it centered. All right. My text color, I'm going to make magenta. My text size, because I've been making mine 14. And my text style is going to be bold. All right. Two more fairly quick things to do, and then I'm done with the interface. All right. If you look up on the screen here, what do I want to do? Well, I want to go up to buttons, and I want to drag one button here, and I want to grab another button and put it right next to it. Okay. And after you do that, if you look up on the screen here, with this first button, this one is going to be button calculate. And all I have to set here, the only thing I have to set is the text. We've already got that down here. There's calculate. All right. I'm going to go to the next button, and I'm going to set that name to button clear. All right. Go down to my text, and from my strings.xml file, I want to make sure that is set to clear. So there, like it, not like it, whatever, there's my interface. You should make sure whether you used my names or your own names, you should always go back and look over here and make sure that you didn't forget to name something. And you'll know you did if you get something like edit text 3 or something like that. You forgot to rename it. All right. This is part of making your program self-documenting, is by coming up with names that are reflective of their type and their purpose. And again, I'm not going to lie to you and say, man, isn't this the best looking interface you've ever seen in your life? Because I don't think it is. All right. I'm going to go back up here. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'm going to click on my edit text height. And see that? It did let me drag it down. It looks a little bit better. It sure isn't perfect. Not at all. Again, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff as we go on in here. All right. My stats, I don't remember. Yeah, I guess I did make them centered. That's fine. Any questions on anything that's on the interface? You can't what? This one? You might have to do it a couple times. All right, I'm not sure. You know, for lack of better words, this is a very picky software product.
You're trying to like send the order you talked about. So if you click once, you can do the whole thing. If you
Yes.
click twice,
If you click twice, then it should.
And then, like in the hold, you should be able to drag it out.
What you want is this. If you look up on the screen, if you click once, you may not get these. If you click twice, you should get the dots, and you want to just grab that one and drag. And again, if for some reason it doesn't work, it's not really that big a thing. I'm really glad you brought that up though, because I forgot. We have to put something else in the stats box that I forgot about. Everybody hear me? All right, we're going to make that stats box bigger right now. We may end up having to move our buttons, but I'm glad Tiffany brought that up because otherwise we would have had problems. Everybody, look on the screen, please. Make sure that you are at your text view results text box. Make sure that's the one that's highlighted. Text view results. Then I want you to change two properties. So I forgot to. Remember, this is alphabetized. So we want to change lines. Type in the number 3. All right, hit enter. See how it got bigger? All right. And go down and find max lines and also put in a 3 and hit enter. That's going to allow us to have multi-line input, which is what we want. You may end up, as we go through this, wanting to tweak this a little bit, but it's not terrible the way that it is. All right. So another good time to do a file and a save all. All right. And mine hasn't built once. But that's not going to stop me from trying it again. Set lines and max lines, both to just the literal 3.
Click and drag it and go to the property called minimum width. You set that to 200 dB and whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. And there's even, believe it or not, there's going to be better ways to do it than that. You can tell it to literally just align with the control above it, and basically it'll inherit whatever is above it. It'll inherit that stuff. But we haven't gotten to that point yet in the book, and that's why I'm, like I said, there's enough, and I appreciate what you're saying, I do, but there's enough people who are just like, I just want to get this to work. Right. And you know what? I can appreciate that. That's what a lot of them are. And then typically what you do is you set it up the way you want it, and then you save it as a theme. All right? A style or a theme, and boom. That's what we're going to be getting to. Okay, there's my interface. All right. Again, it sure as heck is not perfect. But you know what? For lack of better words, it's functional. Okay? And please look up on the screen here. Remember how I set this up to a number signed and this one to a number signed? All right, notice if I put my mouse there, I get my soft keyboard. All right? So later, I mean, we could do it now. I could literally put a number in here, then I can click over to here and I can put a number in here. All right, and then click the check mark. But since these they don't have any code in them, nothing will happen. The idea is we want this to come in here, and like I said before, height 72, weight 122, BMI, 19.63, BMI status, optimal weight. All make sense? I kept this simple on the code. I just put in underweight, optimal weight, and overweight. Everybody hear that? I didn't do the obese and all the other stuff. I didn't do that. I tried it. I tried to set it up so you wouldn't be having to just keep typing in code and code and code. So everything we've done so far should pretty much mock up with the first handout I gave you. This one here, the one that's got the XML in it. Some of you may have been going by the XML, which is fine. All right. But now I'm going to switch over to the other one that's right here. So you have that code. So if I'm going too fast for you, you have that code. All right. So I want to stop this. And I'm going to come back to here. If you look up on the screen, now for the rest of the period, we're going to be going over to BMI activity.java. All right, so please open that one up. Okay. I do want to mention to you, if everybody would just, no matter what you're doing, look up on the screen here. I don't know of anybody who doesn't think that line 3 and line 6, for lack of better words, are pains in the ass. And what I mean is, line 3 says v7.app.app. That's for earlier versions of Android, just so you know. So that if somebody tries to run this, that even has something earlier than 14, they might not have all the functionality, but they should be able to have it run and look at the interface. All right? But that compatibility, they've made it better over time. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to confuse you. I used to have to go in and adjust settings, remove a couple of folders. It was a big pain. You at least don't have to do that anymore, which I think at least is a good thing. All right. So I'm going to just take it from the top here. I'm on my import section. I'm going to add a couple imports. So I put this added by JPS. That's me. Unless you're JPS, you can put your initials or not put anything. So I'm going to import android.view with a little v dot view with a big V. Import android.widget dot edit text and import android.widget dot text view. All right, those 3 lines. If we did not put those 3 lines in, so again, if we did not put those 3 lines in, all right, then later when we go and start to create those, we'd be getting the errors where we could then highlight the error line, click on it, and do an Alt-Enter and have it put in for us. All right? But I'm just keeping it, we're just doing it like this. All right. The next thing that I put in here, all right, is I came down and underneath this, so I wanted to get into my actual program area here. I'm not down by that override yet. There's a bunch of stuff I want to put in. I broke up my constants because I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. So I'm going to give you 3, 6, 8 constants right now. But I broke them up into 3 areas. Did you hear me? I purposely did that because I didn't, We've done this program before in other languages, but I want to make sure you totally understand what we're doing here. So I put a comment here that said, set program height constants. All right? Final int. And again, if you don't like my numbers, use your own. Min height equals 12. This will be the default height, and I just chose 72. All right. Now my daughter, who is 4'10", you know, at 27 years, almost 27 years old, would think that's a very terrible default height. All right. So if you don't like that, if you're on the shorter side, then use a different height. Really doesn't matter. I'm gonna, if you look up on the screen, I'm gonna copy all 4 of these lines, all 4 that I just put in. Copy them to the clipboard, paste them all back in again. Why? Because now I want to set my program weight constants. So I want a min weight, a max weight, and a default weight. My minimum weight, I just, again, arbitrarily picked 1. My maximum weight, I arbitrarily picked 777. And my default weight, I picked 175. Does everybody understand this? Look on the screen, please. Just stop typing for a second. Please, look on the screen. Do you all understand that the way that this is set up, if we either don't put a value in for the height and the weight, or if we put one in that's out of range for the height and weight, then it's going to change to 72 and 175. That's what the defaults are for. All right? I mean, I want you to get it in your head. Not that you're just typing this in, but I want it to mean something. Now, if that helps, if it would help you to put a comment there, then put a comment there. I'm just going to leave them off. That's fine. All right. Then finally, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to set, there's going to be 2 program BMI constants. All right. And I call them, they're both doubles, max under, and I set that equal to 18.0. And I've got another one that's called min over, and I set that one to 30.0. You're right. It should be a 5. Thank you. And I appreciate it. Anytime I make a mistake, I appreciate you finding that. I've actually got a 5 here. I just read the 0 from below. All right? But you're right. Now, you may or may not remember this. You may or may not remember this. The way that BMIs are set up, any BMI that is under 18.5 is considered underweight. Any BMI that is 30.0 and over is considered overweight. That's why I used those numbers. All right, so that's the reason behind them. All right, I'm also going to set 3 variables here. Oops. And I'm going to put here set global variables. All right, and with the global, I put it in double quotes. All right, because technically they're not global variables, but they're global because I'm setting them outside of any method. Okay, and you may or may not have already guessed, but those 3 variables are going to be the edit text, and the text view. All right, so I put in here edit text, and I just called it height text, edit text, and I called it weight text, and a text view that I called results text. Now, I'm not putting in comments, but I did put in some comments on the code I gave you. All right? I'm more concerned right now with us getting this in there and ideally having, 9 people say, yeah, mine works. And I don't want to be one of those 9. I want everybody in here to have yours work. Okay? I'll have you do some adjustments to this on Friday as part of like a pretest. Everybody hear that? I'll say do this and do this and do this. It'll be code stuff, just so you get some practice doing that. All right? Remember, there is no class next Monday. Everybody heard that, right? All right? You can tell Valerie when she comes back. All right? There is no class next Monday. It's President's Day. So what I'm planning on doing is on Tuesday is you'll have your first hands-on. And it'll be all the stuff from the first 4 chapters. All right? I'm going to give you a picture. I'm going to give you something like this, and I'm going to say build that and make it work. That's going to be your test. It's not going to be a BMI, but it's not going to be any harder than a BMI. I don't know what it's going to be because I didn't do it yet. All right? And if you say, well, what are you going to tell us about it? I'm probably going to do it Monday when I get back from Illinois, to be honest with you. All right? So I don't know yet what it's going to be. All right. Is there anything in any of these variables that you see right here that people don't understand? These last ones that we just set up, these here, those are corresponding to this and this and this. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So now we can come in and start putting in some code in our onCreate method. All right? You always want to do this stuff first. You don't want to change that. Everybody hear me? Don't jack with those 2 lines. Don't put any code in the method above that. It's okay to put a comment in there or a blank line. But what this is saying is, all right, call this saved instance state. So call the parent of that. And this is saying, hey, I'm getting ready. This is the layout file that you're going to use. So if you start putting your old code in before that, bad things can conceivably happen. We don't want bad things to happen. All right? So we're going to come down here. You don't have to do this. I'm going to hit enter here a few times just because I want to get that up to the top of the page. That's all. All right? And I am going to add my comments so you know what's going on. So get references to program widgets. Now, again, we're used to calling them controls, all right? But they're widgets in Java land, all right? In Android land. Okay, that's everything. That is everything that we want to put into our onCreate method. All right. So go ahead and put that in. If there's something that does not make sense, ask. All right. So right now, when this program runs, if you look on the screen, now we have associated this and this and this. All right, we've given them Java names to go along with their XML counterparts. And we also said when the program starts, we want the cursor to be in here. That's all we've done so far. All right, we have a few routines to write. The order in which you write these does not matter. But I'm going to turn to the end of the last page that I gave you, and I'm going to do the clear routine first, because there's less code to write. All right? So I'm just going to go right here, and I'm going to put in the same comments that I have there. That's everything for the clear. Okay. I'm going to wait till everybody's done, then we're going to go back and we're going to make sure it works. Again, you can see there's a one-to-one correspondence between what I put in there for a comment and the actual code. All right? I probably wouldn't go to that extreme, but again, as we're learning, it's nice for you to be able to understand what's happening at each step. I think I told you this, but again, Friday I'm going to leave around 1 to 1:30, and Mr. Corrigan's going to come in here. I'm not going to be surprised if he's going to let you go early again, because he's filling in for this class and for Mr. Schaefer-Cotter's class. So that door is going to be open between here. All right? So when they leave, which is at 5 to 4, I think, I'm not going to be surprised if he tells you you can go too. He might not say that. I don't know. But he'll have been here since about 6 in the morning, so he probably will want to leave. Is there anybody in this room right now, with the possible exception of Joy, but is there anybody else who's in this room right now that doesn't understand what's happening in there? Any questions on what's happening in there? All right. You all see that this is called Clear the GUI, right? There is nothing special about that name. It's just a name I came up with. Just so you know, I believe this would work fine without that view, but you use that in almost everything that you do in here, so I want you to start getting used to working with view. That's why I'm having you put it in. It's not hurting anything. Okay? Now, I said it, you know, anybody have any problems, and nobody said anything, so I'm taking it you didn't. what I'd like you to do, if you would please, go back to your XML file. Go back to your XML file. Click on your clear button, or come down here and click on your clear button. All right? Then come down here, and where it says on click, notice if I click the down arrow, what's there? Clear the GUI. That's what we want. That did the association. That's the equivalent of in C# when we had a button and we renamed it, we double clicked on it and opened up its click event. That's basically what we just did right there. All right. Now, it's a good time to save, but since I've been having not great luck getting this thing to run, what you should be able to do, if you look up on the screen here, what you should be able to do if you run yours, if you want to run yours, you should be able to click in here, put in a value, click in here, put in a value. You're not going to get anything here yet. All right, but you should be able to click clear, and those should both go away, and your cursor should be right there. Because that's what we just told it to do. So if you want to try that, fine. If you don't want to try that now, also fine. All right. Yes, sir.
So in general, when you do like find view by ID,
yes.
Like get element by ID kind of.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. What it does is what the XML actually does is it associates memory locations when you put that stuff in. That's what it's doing. And what the find view by ID is it's saying go out to that memory location that we've named this and associate it with this widget that's in our Java program. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Why do we have to cast edit text?
Because there is an incompatibility because what gets returned is not of type edit text.
Okay.
So you always have to cast it. If it was a button, you'd have to cast it to a button.
Right.
All right. So whatever the widget is, you got to cast it to that type. That's a good question. All right. All right. Now I'm going to go back to page 2 on the code that I gave you, starting from the top. All right. Just so you see this. I'm going to go back into my BMI file, and I want my clear GUI to be at the bottom. You may or may not agree. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to put in my comments. Okay, so that's what I put in so far that you see on the top of the screen. I just went back. I made a little better comments. Here on the one I gave you, I was lazy, and I typed in underweight, etc. All right? Never underestimate the inability of somebody looking at your code. Okay? If you're going to put a comment in there, don't be cute. Don't be quaint. Don't make up your own acronyms and use those. I've worked with people who do that. Well, you should know what that means. No, I don't. Why? Because you're an idiot. Because you came up with your own naming structure and didn't tell anybody about it. That's dumb. All right? There's no reason that people shouldn't be able to look at anything that you put in code. If you comment, maybe not even liberally, but if you comment and you use good variable names and sound logic, you'll be known as a good programmer. All right? You can worry later, bless you, you can worry later about things like, oh, is there a shortcut to doing this? That stuff will come later. That all comes with experience. All right. So I'm going to start by creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables. And this is going to be exactly what I told you here. That's going to be the status. So it's going to be one of those. This will be the built output string. All right. You'll notice when you look at this again, another example. I don't have that particular import. I forgot to put it in. So I'm going to take my mouse, put it on here, Alt-Enter, import class. This is where I had this. This is why I wanted to show it to you. Because notice it says here, the decimal format. And you're like, well, which one do we want here? Well, it's giving me something different. Actually, it looks different than before. This one it didn't like. That one it worked with. All right. In fact, let me make sure. I'm going to look at the top of the code here. And this is what I imported. How's that? I'll show you up here. All right. I did an import of java.text.decimal format. All right. That's the Java one. Yeah. All right. We're getting long. I think it's time for another break. All right. So it is 2:35. Let's come back at 2:50. We will finish this up, write the rest of the code, and ideally, everybody will get theirs to work. If you're a little behind, having 15 minutes, hopefully we'll give you the chance to catch up. All right. So again, let's come back, please, in about 15 minutes.